Hey everyone, this is Laious and welcome to my 5th Star Valor devlog. I have a lot of cool new features to show, and in the end I'll be showing how I set the game scenes inside Unity. So stick around to not lose anything. If you're a player or an indie dev, I think you'll like this. First thing I like to show is the new Minimap. As you can see, it is a lot cleaner now and it's more precise. As you can see here, the asteroids are precisely fading away inside the range, and you notice that there are two radius circle here. The bigger one is obviously your scanner range, and the smaller one is your small objects range, which means loot and derelicts. So there's an item around here, and it will show up as soon as it enters the range. So here it is, and this smaller circle increases with your small objects detection range. So if I increase this skill here, you see the small radius increasing as well. So now I can detect smaller objects a lot farther, as you can see. Another improvement is that earlier when you had a better scanner range, it will show a lot of labels here in the map and you wouldn't see anything. So now, as soon as you start increasing your scanner range, as you can see, the names get smaller also. So you can pretty much see everything now. This was highly requested, so finally it's here. It's a lot cleaner now. So this is a new sector type, and you can see the debris fields now. They used to be called ship graveyards. This debris field here, where you can scavenge. They used to be called ship graveyards. Now ship graveyard is this new sector type, which obviously looks like a ship graveyard. There's a lot of ships in the back and lots of debris floating around. There's a new kind of debris fields in addition to these normal ones. They are kind of hidden. You can't spot them right away, but if you look closer, you will see these little sparks. And this is a special kind of debris field. You can, even though it's level 30 and my tech level is 13, it will always drop the loot, even if it's a lot higher than your tech level. It will not drop the energy cells, but if you have the skill here, you will 100% drop an item, which can be either a crafting material or just equipment, like a weapon or equipment. And you see the name will disappear when I go, so you can't see it unless you are on top of it, which it's not happening anymore because I already scavenged it. So it's something to look for now, and they happen a lot more in this ship graveyard type of sectors. They can spawn in normal sectors as well. But it just has a 10% chance to happen instead of these normal ones. Another thing that happens here, a new thing, is the debris fields will respawn with time. So you can pretty much stay here and scavenging until your cargo is full. However, in these sectors there will be a lot more dangers, including traps. You can see right there, there's a mine. So besides traps that can be found anywhere here, there's also more marauders spawning to hunt you, and there are ravagers occasionally. So it's a dangerous place, but you can scavenge a lot. You can gather a lot of scrap metal and refined metal, especially because the special ones, the special types of debris fields, they yield a lot more scrap metal and refined metal. So yeah, this is a cool new system. I will be improving it. You can see there's a lot of some ships there. It's this one is Kerberos. There's a Titan down there. Pretty massive battle occurred here, or maybe a Ravager destroyed them all. who knows. There's Hades there, another one there. So it's a pretty cool system, and later I'll be adding more stuff to it, more challenges. And in the next patch, the following patch, I will be adding missions, because the last update before launch will be mission focused. So there will be more quests, which are highly requested. So yeah, it was pretty fun to create this. Let me see if I catch another ship graveyard here. Well, this one is a lot more clear, so it's easier to spot the special graveyards. I'll be tweaking this. I'll be adjusting it. It's a really cool place. Just be careful with the enemies. Let me see if I can spot something here. Oh yeah, look at that. So when you are over it, the green name pops out. Yeah, so that was the debris field, new ship graveyards. Next feature is the biggest one, which is it was also very requested, and it is the ship upgrade. Yes, however, it's not actually a ship upgrade. Just to make it clear, this ship rarity, the color will not change. It's a fixed rarity, because we have ships like the Valor, and I intend to add another models, which has a Mark 1 and Mark 2, Mark 3. So this ship rarity, the color will not change. However, you can add ship enhancements to it, which is this here. So you can, each ship, based on its rarity and other stats, you have a certain number of slots. So the Silo has 4 slots, because 3 because it's blue tier, and 1 because it has the independent ship enhancement slots. As you can see there, it's a new thing also. So for ships that are not faction based, those that are independent, they are more customizable. So you have one extra enhancement slot. How it works is, these are the upgrades you can add to the ship. There's a lot of cool stuff here, and I'll be adding more, of course. I'll be changing these and balancing, but now you have a lot more freedom, and you can customize the ship even further. Each ship can have up to 1 tier 3 enhancement, 2 tier 2, and any number of tier 1s. So obviously tier 3s are much better, but they cost a lot. So you can see here, it's expensive, but it's very good. So you can add 1, and you cannot add another tier 3. So you can add tier 2s. Here's the cost. You can add 2 tier 2s. Let's see, weapon heat generated. Okay, and then just an example. So the ship is fully customized. You can remove it at any time, but you won't get the materials back. You can see I can remove the enhancement, but I will not get the materials back. So let's add it back on. The tier 1 is pretty cheap, just 3 base component and 1 fine component. I'm also adding a higher chance to drop fine components from hideouts and from scavenging. So this should be easier to add, and your fleet ships will retain this enhancement, which is pretty cool. So you can build a fleet with fully customized ships. Let's take another one here. Let's take the Rukida, for example. Rukida is a pretty basic mining ship, but since it's independent, it gets 1 extra slot, as you can see there. And you can also see my current ship in the left. You can see the bonuses in yellow. Those are the enhancements. And if I add the Rukida, it has 2 free slots. So let's see. For fleet ships, these bonuses here are pretty good. So you can add like shield, and let's add 2 shields, so it has 90 more shield. And you can see that in yellow in the right. So yeah, this is the ship upgrade. It's not exactly how you probably envisioned it, but I think it's actually better this way. Instead of adding instead of making, for example, the Rokita just being green and adding certain bonuses, you add what you want, so you can customize it even further. Another thing, the Raven is now a Corsair. As you can see there, it's a new ship role, the Corsair. It has 1 additional enhancement slot, as you can see there, and +5 crew efficiency. So even though it's a green ship, it has 4 slots, just like the Silo. And this makes the Corsairs, especially independent Corsairs, pretty much the most customizable ships, because even green you have 4 slots. Of course, since you can only add 2 tier 2 and 1 tier 3, each slot after the 3rd is not as good, because you can only add to tier 1, but even though it is very meaningful. Like for instance, you can add critical chance, you can add for mining ships, you can add mining laser damage, or collector beam. You can have a building collector beam for your ship or whatever. Cargo space, shields, armor. So yeah, the Corsair is the jack of all trades, you can say. It's a pretty customizable ship, pretty versatile. We have another new role here. And for those who are fans of the Titan, you'll like this. This is the new Titan. You can see it has new turrets, new guns here. And it has a new role. It's a destroyer role now. Destroyers usually have the good broadside cannons, turrets, and they have the plus 20% damage on large weapons. So those with size 4 or bigger, like this one here. So, and in the case of the Titan, it has this big broadside turrets here. They have weapon range plus 50% and projectile speed. So you can add pretty strong weapons in the broadsides. They will fly a lot farther and faster. Unfortunately, you can see, yeah, since the Titan is a white rarity, it only has 2 slots, one for being white quality and one for being independent. But even then, you can add 1 tier 3 and 1 tier 2, so you can do a lot with it. So yeah, there's a destroyer role. Not many ships are destroyers yet. One of them is, of course, you guessed it, this thing here, the Hephaestus. So I kind of had to nerf it a little bit on the turrets, the top turrets here. They are now a 3 space, which is pretty good still, because it's 360. But these here have they received plus 50% projectile speed, so they are even better than before. But the turrets aren't that great. And of course, it also has the plus 20% from being a destroyer. So the broadsides and, well, the front as well, the front and the broadsides just became a lot stronger. Another cool feature, if you send your drones, what happens when they finish their work? They will automatically search for a new target to mine. They kind of work like your fleet miners, your fleet ships. So it's another way to mine a bit more effectively. They will choose the ones that are next to them. If you put them in the same, might not be ideal, because they will spend half the time traveling to the next asteroid instead of actually mining. So it's not ideal, but you can always specifically send. Like here I have 3 groups of mining drones, so that's a cool thing as well. The next feature is we have a new special crew member, which is Goettert. For those who don't know him, he's a streamer, he's a really cool guy. He's our German translator, and he's a famous miner, I think, because enemies don't like to attack him. So if you have him on board as a co-pilot, as a first officer or a captain, the enemies will not target you as much. And apparently he makes your gunners fire a lot worse, but that's fine because you only want to mine, right? And it's a solid co-pilot or first officer. Make sure to check his Twitch channel. He streams Star Valor very frequently, and now you have another miner crew member to look for, besides the miner. So another cool feature: when you destroy something or scrap something, the cursor will stay there, and we will move to the next item. So you can keep doing stuff here, and the cursor will stay there. Except for deposit, which I still need to implement. So if you want to scrap things, the cursor will not move. As you can see, you can just scrap and destroy, and it's just a small improvement here. And last change or feature is this one here. Spinal mounts now only have plus 50% weapon range instead of plus 100, so they will probably not fire from off screen anymore, at least not if you have optics or a big ship. There will be less off screen shooting. This is just for balancing, and we'll keep balancing it out. I might eventually reduce the bonus damage from the charging. It doesn't say here, but it does. It obviously increases the damage of the weapon. Outside it has a 5 damage, and when you apply to the spinal mount it has 10, so it doubles because of the charging mechanics and how it works. I might change that also, but for now it's the weapon range nerf will help, and let's see how it goes. So now let's move on to dev stuff. I'd like to show a bit of how I set up my scenes in Unity. So I have a lot of them here, but I will show only the important ones. The first one is the splash screen, which is it's just a basic scene for my logo, and it also loads some stuff, some Steamworks stuff. It synchronizes your account with Steam and make sure it's a legit copy of the game. So it's just a splash screen, and it loads some basic stuff. And then we have the menu scene. It has nothing right here, just has this the simple menu. It loads my dev message, it loads my patrons, which I need to update here now. You can see a lot of objects here, and the manager object here is the don't destroy on load for those who work in Unity. This object is persistent towards all the scenes in the game. Once it spawns here, it will stay. So I have the game manager. This is a persistent object. It's a really big class. Well, it's not big, but it has a lot of stuff here. I have a game data. I have the loot system, some colors which are used in game, so I can customize it here. In the basic FPS counter, the one that shows up when you press F11. So yeah, I also have the data when the update is done. A couple more basic stats here, so no big deal. Just well, the demo part is just a simple script which spawns the ships like this, and the player isn't the player, it's just a decoy, like the dummy object with some base stats. The demo control is which controls this. So moving on, you have the intro scene, which is this one. For launch I might change it so it doesn't look too much as Star Wars, but yeah, it's It's just a base scene to spawn the text, and spawns the ship after a while, and then it moves towards past the screen, the camera, and go to this waypoints here, these little dots. Go here, here, and then the next one is somewhere. Yep, here it is. It's pretty far. So you just follow these waypoints, and when it gets here, it loads the next scene, which is the scene 1. And pretty much the entire game happens here. The scene 1 is just it just has a player and the other objects from they are pretty much the same or pretty close to what we have in the menu scene. So despite the UI, it doesn't have anything in the scene itself, only the player, because everything is spawned when you start the scene. And of course, since each sector is different, then we have a lot of things spawning differently every time. So the scene, the empty scene, is pretty boring. I have here the scanner, the canvas, which is the entire UI, as you can see. I usually leave it open to change some stats. I have temp objects to spawn things, so every time I spawn a spaceship, for example, it becomes a child of this object. Drones right here and planets right here. Let me show you how it works in the game. So a procedural game has some basic objects, and the rest is instantiated in runtime. So now you have everything instantiated, and for example, we have all the spaceships in this as a child of these objects. We have marauders, mercenaries, and if I want, I can just kill everyone like this, and they will respawn, as you can see here, because the game manager keeps spawning more ships to reach a certain amount according to the sector population. So you have the spaceships, you have the drones here. They are all invisible because they are just waiting to be activated instead of instantiated every time. They are just they are instantiated and disabled for when you need to use it. The planets, they're just background for now. The asteroids, lots of asteroids. Yeah, so everything spawned is somewhere in this area here, and the UI is in the canvas. Everything is here. So these dummy targets, they move in the battlefields to simulate the AI aiming error. So yeah, this temp object here is constantly changing according to what is in the scene or not, what's instantiated or not, and the rest is pretty static, like the game launcher. Here's the sun. The sun is entirely particle based, composed of two objects, two particle objects, particle system, and lights. You can see if I turn off the sun, most of the light is gone. So yeah, this is my base scene, the scene 1. It's the most used in game. And then of course I have the arena scene, which is pretty similar with less stuff, but it works pretty much the same. The most difference are a couple of items here, and that's it. Oh, I have a screenshot scene that I use to take screenshots and create thumbnails for the YouTube channel. So I can I usually set the ships the way I want. That's the background I used for the last photo shoot. And the last one was Laious. It's here. Then Taurus, the Empress. Just and I have a lot of cameras here, some cameras that rotate to do the rotation shots. And finally, I have asset manager, or which I call asset management. It's just a scene where I can spawn stuff and take a look at them. And so, for instance, I have this, which is used for, so I can tweak the ship pictures. I can change the weapon mounts. Let's say the Horus here. I can show and hide the weapon slots. Once I'm done, I can just save, and it saves the picture. Why I don't do this automatically? It's because the ships they are so different between each other that a generic function wouldn't work properly. So I just do it this way. So I also have weapons here with their couple of stats, equipment, and spaceships. So those are the main scenes I use in the game. And that's it. So make sure to subscribe to my channel to support it. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'll probably not reach it before launch, but since I will keep developing the game at least 1 year after launch, I hope to get to 1,000 subscribers to support my work, and because, well, that's what I love doing. And even after Star Valor, I'll keep working on something else. It's also important to leave a comment, leave suggestions, and let me know how I can improve or what you would like to see. So for now, that's it, and see you on the next devlog. Bye!